Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nightmares of Nature. As always, I'm your host, Mr. G. Today, we're talking about the big dogs. Yeah, that's the best pun I got. Roll footage. Wolves, Canis lupus, are the largest members of the canine family. Being roughly human-sized, wolves live throughout the northern hemisphere, though their range has sadly been sliced down due to hunting. More on that later. Wolves are pack hunters, and their structure is basically nothing like how it's portrayed in media. While in media, wolf packs are portrayed as tough as nails groups that are constantly fighting one another for promotion, led by the no-nonsense alpha who has all the breeding rights and first meal rights, while the pathetic betas do all the dirty work, and the low-life omegas are lucky to even get a scrap of food. Yeah, real wolf packs are a lot more friendly. See, wolf packs are actually families, as in it's made up of a mom, a dad, and their children. So yeah, of course the oldest male has breeding rights, he's the father. Any other breeding pair, and that would be known as inbreeding, which most animals generally try to avoid. Also, alpha, beta, and omega wolves, those are just straight up not a thing. Wolves treat each other well, and there is no real pecking order besides the parents being above their children, obviously. And also, wolves don't leave their packs because they failed to topple the alpha and have been banished for insubordination. No, they're leaving because they want to breed, so they seek out wolves who aren't their blood relatives so they can start their own pack. Now that we got the structure out of the way, let's talk about how they work together. Wolves are very patient predators, often pursuing prey for quite a while before they finally strike. This is mostly so that the wolves can determine if the prey is worth their time. When they strike, the pack cut off the prey's escape route by blocking any potential exit, while at the same time biting at the prey in order to make it bleed. You see, cats kill their prey by biting at their neck until they're dead, but wolves have to rely more on chip damage. But wolves have to rely on a more chip damage form of hunting, where they repeatedly bite at the prey until it dies of blood loss. Also, I just want to vent about this because I'm tired of media portraying it this way. But pack hunters are not these unstoppable forces in nature that no other creature has hopes of surviving encounters with. Ugh, I'm getting really sick of everyone acting like pack hunters are invincible. They're not. You see, pack hunters still follow the same rules as solo hunters. They still generally only go after sickly animals or animals that have already been weakened in some way. Pack hunters don't just go willy-nilly into fights just because they have a numerical advantage. Because here's the funny thing. Pack hunters are smart enough to know that if they have less pack members, then they'll have worse luck at hunting. So they don't just rush into a fight just because they have a numerical advantage. No, 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 no. They scope out the situation and see that if a prey is worth their time. And then they attack. After all, it's the reason that lions only attack elephants if they're really desperate, because elephants can kill them, and lions don't want their pride members to die. Same with wolves. They only really attack bears if they're an active threat, because bears can kill. And in areas where their range overlaps, tigers have even driven some populations of wolves extinct, despite being solo hunters. So yeah, I'm tired of media acting like pack hunters are unstoppable forces in nature. It just really gets on my nerves sometimes. Anyway, let's finally talk about their howls. Wolves don't just do it because it's nighttime or because the moon has some sort of effect on them. No, their howl is more like a roll call. Basically, they do it to get the attention of their pack members. You can even test this out if you have a pet dog. If you howl, they howl, since it's their way of confirming that they can hear you. So yeah, that's the wolf. Almost nothing like how it's portrayed in media. I'd say they're up there in terms of sharks and velociraptors in terms of animals that media just cannot get right. So yeah. Okay, time for the card. This card is weird. On the front, it accurately refers to a wolf pack as a family, but on the back, it does the whole alpha beta fight for dominance thing, which, as I've mentioned, is a theory that's been discredited. I don't know what happened here, but 9 out of 10. Humans and wolves have a long and complicated relationship. In the early days of mankind, wolves were probably just seen as any other predator. Not any more special, but not any less special. But then, sometime during the Ice Age, something weird happened. Humans and wolves started bonding. Now, how and why this happened still isn't entirely clear, since Paleolithic people aren't particularly known for keeping journals about how they did stuff. But the current theory is that because wolves are pack animals, they're a lot more likely to form bonds. And as for why this happened, it's possible that we started getting along because wolves started feasting on the scraps we left behind, and eventually they started bonding with us as a way to get free food. As time went on, the relationship between man and wolf became a lot more refined, with wolves starting to be bred in order to get rid of some of the more negative traits like size and aggression. Eventually, after many centuries of doing this, we ended up with the dog, which then fell into their own rabbit hole of genetic modifications that led to things like the Chihuahua and the Pug, which are creatures whose entire existence is basically living agony. Look it up. Maybe wolves actually made a mistake in trusting us. Now, while humans and dogs get along very well, after all, dogs are literally called man's best friend, humans and wolves kind of became enemies after the dog came into the picture. For the longest time, wolves were the scary animal. Plenty of stories formed about wolves being evil creatures of the night that attack on sight. Hey, that rhymed. Wolves were made the enemy in a lot of stories, most famously the big bad wolf from Red Riding Hood. And of course, there's werewolves and the wolf from the Three Little Pigs. There are a lot of evil wolves out there. And in general, wolves were probably the most feared of any scary animal. Yes, things like lions were feared, but they were also respected for their power. But with wolves, we basically only feared them. And this fear led to humans taking extreme measures. You see, wolves started getting overhunted, driving them extinct in several regions. Most infamously, they were completely wiped out from Yellowstone National Park. As you can imagine, a predator being wiped out had major consequences on the environment, as with nothing to hunt them, deer populations experienced a boom since now nothing was able to hunt them. So, yeah. Thankfully, though, reintroduction techniques have occurred in recent years, and wolves were being brought back to areas where they've gone wiped out, which is helping lower the deer population back to regular numbers. In the modern day, wolves have a much better reputation thanks to their more understanding of what they're actually like and how important they are, so I wouldn't really call them scary animal these days. But speaking from experience, I've noticed that people who are hunters absolutely despise wolves. Whenever I was in school, they would go on rants about how wolves deserve to die out, mostly because, I kid you not, they're making deer an endangered species. Yes, that was really the reason. Yeah, I'm 95% sure they were just jealous that they couldn't hunt as many deer as they used to. But hey, I guess we all have a reason to hate animals, even if they're some of the stupidest reasons you've ever heard. Like this one kid in my 6th grade class who had an irrational hatred of sharks because quote, they ripped that poor lady's arm off and didn't even feel bad about it. I'm not kidding. Well, that's wolves. See you guys next time when we talk about a cat. Goodbye.